Welcome to tonight's live stream. I am going to get started in a moment with tonight's Friday night barbecue. I just need to let everybody on social media know that the stream is currently on the air. Better get the cool slow, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue. And tonight's show is going to be a barbecue where I go in depth on a subject that I have a lot of life experience with, and that experience is with trying to build in the Black community. Now, ever since about 2009, when I was coming off about 6 or 7 months of losing my job in October of 2008, I started the SJS Direct imprint. And as I started the SJS Direct imprint and was trying to build a business that published books that featured positive stories about the Black experience, one of the things that I found was that you get a lot of resistance, especially in the Black community. And a good chunk of that resistance, I found out the hard way, came from Black women. Now, I'm not saying all Black women will give you resistance, but when it comes to some Black women, they are the ones that make it just that much harder to go out here and build. Now, as I was trying to build the SJS Direct imprint, I did get help from a best-selling author friend of mine who was a Black woman, and she put me in connection with someone who had a radio show, and they were going to feature me on their radio show to talk about my first book, All About Maryland. And as I had put together the hours and the time to schedule this show, I ran into resistance from a member of my family who was deeply insecure. And this family member who was deeply insecure, basically on the day I was supposed to go on the air in 2009, went out here and started up a whole argument. And that whole argument made it where I wasn't able to go on the air and be able to promote my first book, All About Maryland. And from that whole incident, that basically showed me the real serious problem, that why we don't have a lot of businesses in the Black community. And a lot of the reasons why we don't have a lot of businesses in the Black community is because when you're trying to build, you don't really get a lot of support, and you don't get a lot of support in the Black community, mainly because one, it is matriarchal, and two, because a lot of Black women don't want to work with the black men who are out here building. No, instead of looking to work with those black men, what happens is that some of these sisters get extremely insecure. And as they get insecure, they look basically tear everything down that you're trying to work on because they're so afraid of change. And the reason why they are afraid of change is because many of these women basically are wedded to the system of the state and the institution of white supremacy. And they're afraid of losing, one, many of the benefits they receive in the system of white supremacy, and two, they are afraid of a man taking power and agency for himself because they just prefer that the man be codependent under them. So whenever a man starts to make moves that allow him to take power and start to build, that's when those women, that small group of women in the community, try to go out here and get in the way of that black man and keep that man from being able to grow and improve as related to himself. So this is what I ran into back in 2009 as related to the resistance I ran into. And it gave me an insight on why we don't have a lot of black men interested in building in the black community. Because when some of us brothers try to go out here and put in work with those good sisters who want to help us out, we run into these individuals who basically want to tear anything down that you're trying to build because they fear that their position in the system of white supremacy and the benefits that they receive, whether it be the jobs that they get through certain preferential treatment as related to the hiring system that's basically created by the feminist HR brick wall or the government programs, they're scared of losing their ability to meet resources from that system. And they're also afraid of losing the power base that they have. So whenever a black man goes out here and tries to go out here and build in the community, that's where we run into that resistance. And that's the hard time we get, because when we're trying to go out here and build, we're trying to go out here and do things. These women, this small group of women, they start to get insecure. They start to really get scared. They get scared of seeing that black man, one, having the ability to go out here and look to, one, take the lead and the initiative on his own. Two, they get afraid of that man looking to go out here and take power. And three, they get afraid of that black man, again, showing that he has initiative. And they get upset at that black man and then look to get in that black man's way. Instead of being the helpmeet that they should be to that man, they wind up becoming a hindrance. And that's what I experienced back in 2009 that gave me a major setback, as related to things with the SJS Direct Imprint. And that's what I ran into, because this family member basically had this delusion that, oh, if I go on a radio show to talk about the screenplay book that I had written, oh, I'm going to have plans to go to Hollywood, which were completely absurd. I mean, if this person knew about the entertainment industry like I did, they would know that writing a screenplay book and talking about it on the radio wasn't going to take you to Hollywood, because the entire process for submitting a script is completely different for going into selling a screenplay versus publishing a book of a story that's in a screenplay format. That's what this family member didn't understand. They didn't understand that, as related to scripts, the All About Maryland script was basically what they called a spec script. And a spec script is called a speculative script. It's basically something that you write to show that you have skills and abilities as related to future projects. And usually when it comes to spec scripts usually don't get sold at all. And if they do get sold at all, basically that there's no way you're going to go to Hollywood on a spec script, because when it happens to the spec script is that, yes, it just gets bought. And once it gets bought, it's never going to go into production at all. No, what the studio will do, if they ever even think about buying a script, which is slim to none, is they'll buy the script, basically bury the script. But this family member didn't understand that. And they thought, oh, you're going to go to Hollywood based on one script. But that's not how the business works. And that takes me back to one of the main talking points I have for tonight's show as related to why you can't build with a lot of these modern black women. And that is because many of these black women just don't understand how men work in this world. And the main reason why they don't understand the way men work in this world is because they don't have a lot of actual men in the black community anymore. And because there aren't a lot of actual black men in the community out here building, because they have to deal with that whole toxic environment that does not support black men, they don't understand that the way a man works isn't just about going to work at some job. No, when a man builds, a man basically has to start laying out things as related to creating a process. And that's something many modern black women don't understand about building a business. They don't understand that there are steps to this and that there is a process related to it. There's a whole entire process to building. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of black men have a hard time working with black women, because a lot of them get into this power struggle that they have because they want to, again, maintain their leadership role as related to the system of white supremacy, that they've been given this de facto position. And that creates a power struggle with the man who wants to be a leader. Moreover, that man is looking for that woman to be a helpmeet and help meet his needs. But that woman is basically not able to help meet that man's needs because she's so busy looking to help meet the needs of white supremacy and continue getting her needs met by those government programs, that it becomes next to impossible for that man to work with that woman, makes it next to impossible to work with that woman because she basically is just so scared of being out on her own because she's mostly dependent on, again, those jobs and those programs that she gets, that it makes it hard for that black man to work with that woman because she just doesn't, one, trust that man, and two, doesn't have that faith in that man. Now, someone who knows about building a business himself is Mr. Chris from Chris and Company, and I want him to come in and basically talk about how it is a struggle to work at building in the black community with many of these modern black women. How you doing, Mr. Chris?
I'm doing fantastic, Sean. How are you this
I'm
evening?
good.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. And let me give people a background of me. I've been in digital media since 2006, when my mentor, my radio mentor, brought me in under his wing, and I knew that this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But when the rest of your life is a long time, and you better have a plan to do what you love for the rest of your life. So I was still working 3 jobs. I hadn't been retired yet. And I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So when I would interact, go out on dates and things, I would have to let a woman know that, this is what I do. And the first thing in their mind is, well, how much you get paid? And it's just like, it doesn't work like that. Getting paid over internet radio is not like mainstream. It's not like mainstream terrestrial radio. And, this is a passion of mine. So, and this comes along with me. So I've had to make it crystal clear with any woman that comes into my life. I let them know that this is what I do. Even when I'm not on the air, this is what I do. I eat this, I drink this, I sleep this. And I had the unfortunate pleasure of coming across women that would just say the dumbest things, like, don't be that radio personality around me. I'm like, excuse me? Like, you really think I am so absorbed that I will bring my radio personality with me when it comes to handling mature adult business? Like, you really think that's small? And so I realized that if I am going to be in this dating market, a woman has to accept this. This comes along with what I do. I broadcast I broadcast out of my house, right? Out of one of the bedrooms that I have here in the house that I live in Arizona. And and I have a desk in here. I have an actual studio. I'm the real deal. And so this is how I'm dedicated. This is how I'm committed. And I'm telling you, I refuse. I refuse to put this on the back burner for for a female who don't get it. Either
Yeah.
she get it, go ahead.
That's what I find with a lot of these modern black women is that they think that it's not work unless you are working at somebody else's job. What they think is, oh, the only work you can do is working at somebody's job, and you need to give up what you're doing, give up your passion. But the whole thing about having the job was to work towards your passion, get the capital and the resources to do that. A lot of these women, they don't understand this. And whenever you start talking about things that's related to your passions, they want you to stop because the only thing that they want is these jobs, and they depend on these jobs, and they don't want you to think about doing anything outside of these jobs. They don't even consider you successful if you don't have one of these jobs. And that's one of the big problems that's a liability in our community, because how do you get towards developing a group of quality black men if they're not building? I mean, you can't complain about the men not building, because for them, they think the only way of building is getting a job. But again, what's the man supposed to do if he just work for somebody else or work on his purpose?
Well, unfortunately, you and I, being from the Generation X generation, we've received the worst part of the modern woman mindset. We've got the worst of it because we didn't know we didn't know how intricate this was. We didn't know how systemic this was when it came to women being absolutely selfish, being self-centered, being narcissistic. It threw us for a loop because our parents didn't. I know especially my parents, they taught me how to be a gentleman, open up a door for a woman, uh, pulling out her seat when you're at dinner, making sure she's comfortable first and everything. And while this was going on, we didn't know that there was a whole modern woman's feminist white supremacy dogma that was out and out to destroy us black men. So, once we realized through trial and error and mistakes here and there, I don't take no shit from nobody, especially abroad. And when I if a woman has a problem with me doing my broadcast, then she's not for me, because this is my life. I eat this, I sleep this, I drink this. Even when I'm not on the air, I'm either doing promotional videos. Oh, you guys gonna love my new promotional videos. My tag team partner Sean is going to play them later in this broadcast. I love it. I love it. I, I take the time to be better. I'm learning. I'm learning the video craft now. I'm trying to expand my knowledge base when it comes to both audio and visual media, because when you go to my website, you know the idea to get people to come to your website is having content. The more content that you have on your website, the more than likely ability that people are going to hang out on your website. They're going to bookmark the website and things of that nature. So that's good. The more traffic that comes to www.niceradionetwork.com, it builds the website. It builds the website. And that takes time and that takes energy. And the very last thing we need is a woman who is against us and not for us. And simply put, and I think I could speak for Sean on this. This is one of the things that I personally admire about Mr. James. Me and Sean are two men that we would rather be alone and be happy and be well respected than to be in a garbage relationship, be in a garbage relationship, and yeah, the chick might be hot, and the sex might be going through the roof, but there's no substance there. And with all of that, we would rather be by ourselves and be secure and comfortable with that than to be in a relationship that disrespects us.
No, I wouldn't want to be in that relationship because it's just a waste. One, it's a waste of my time, and two, it just adds to the stress. And when you're working on building a business, when you're working on trying to get stuff together, you already have enough stress as it on you as it is. And one of the worst things you could have is a woman who isn't looking to help meet your needs by helping you build the business, but wants to go out here and either be one, a saboteur who wants to sabotage your actions, or two, wants to be out here looking to compete against you, basically draining your energy, draining your time, and giving you stress. I mean, that's something you just don't want. I mean, you don't want to deal with a woman who's just, again, bringing you more problems as you're trying to do things like, in some cases, you're trying to work by yourself, you're trying to work on your business at the same time, and then you got to come home to this woman who also wants to add to your stress. I mean, that's one of the worst things that you could ever come into as related to a situation as when you're out here building a business is to be in a place where you are getting no support, where you're basically feeling you're on your own. And that's the way a lot of brothers who are like out here starting black owned businesses, we feel that way again when we're dealing with some black women, that you just don't get that support from home. And it just feels just as bad because you're starting your business, you're out here having to compete. And again, you're trying to bring your best game to the business. And then you got to come home to a black woman who basically wants to give you a hard time. I mean, you already got a hard time on this job as related to your business, a hard time sometimes when you're working on a job as you're building your business. And the worst thing to do is come home to somebody who's just tearing you down.
Oh, most absolutely. And it gets to a point where you have to make some tough decisions. And we all crave intimacy and being in a good, healthy relationship. But if the healthy relationship is not there, you can't force it. No. And you can't force a woman to love you and respect you and all that. It's either there or it's not. And if you are a builder, you don't really worry about that because you have a purpose. You have a purpose. And you see a lot of what I would like to see more often. I would like to see a lot of these football and basketball players get hands-on training on not to be spellbound by by these nickel and dime hoes out here, because these football players and basketball players, they have incredible opportunities to have generational wealth. And I don't know if you've seen this documentary. You guys got to check it out. It's by ESPN, the 30 for 30 series. It's called Broke. And all of these former athletes talk about how many millions that they squandered during their professional career. Now, could you imagine if mostly, let's say close to 98%, especially of black men athletes, were to save their money and they didn't chase the hoes and the clothes, right? Just imagine if brothers like you and I were able to rub elbows with these particular gentlemen, and then we're able to pitch them I could pitch them the niceradionetwork.com. You can pitch them SJS Direct, and with their influence open doors for us. We could, on top of what we're doing by ourselves, there's no telling where that past that positively forward would lead us. But since it's not happening, it just adds to the frustration that we black men have to deal with. The if it's not the modern woman that's an enemy to the black man, there's the system of white supremacy
Yeah.
that's an enemy to the black man. Then we got this blue no matter who bootlicks that wants to tell us what to do when it comes to who to vote for and why we should vote for them. So there's so many forces that are absolutely against the black man, not only from the outside, but also from within, that that if it always I we were just maybe a nudge, a handshake away from really making a difference on our brands. And because there's so much distrust, there's so much apathy out in the real world, we have to face it alone. And that's fine. It's okay. I'd rather face it alone to than for this to falter. So, that's what we're up against. And that's the reality of our situation, Sean.
Yeah. Well, to touch on the subject you were talking about regarding these athletes, one of the things that really prevents those guys from being able to build and build wealth with all the money that they get is the mindset that a lot of these guys get from their black single mothers. And those guys, they get taught to be consumers early on. They get taught to buy expensive stuff like cars and shoes. This stuff has no real economic value. And that's all due to the mindset that they have with this covert contract. They're going to buy mama a house, not understanding that you have to start seeing yourself as a business. Now, earlier this week, I made a video about Jonathan Majors and how he basically is now being taken care of by a woman. It's basically like turned from being a guy on the way to the A-list to becoming a Pookie in Hollywood, all because he didn't have the right mindset to understand that you are a business. And again, when a black man is building, he understands that he is a business and he has to conduct himself in ways that allow him to advance his business. And what happens to a lot of these NFL stars and some of these Hollywood actors is they start thinking that they are just a person and not an enterprise. And when it comes to our white and non-black counterparts, they know that they're an enterprise. They create LLCs, they create corporations to protect their interests. And that's something many black men don't understand how to do. They don't understand how to operate like a business. And a lot of it is that foundation in that household with that single mother who basically teaches them how to just go out here and be a consumer. And once you get some money, go out here and consume and not have a mindset as related to production and a mindset as related to building and creating businesses and making yourself a business. And again, this is one of the things that basically tears down the foundation for a lot of brothers out here. Again, you start out with a rickety foundation because mama, all she's thinking about is getting money because she thinks about working for someone else. And when you have that mindset of thinking about working for someone else, you're working against yourself. And you have to start thinking about yourself as a business so you can make things work for you. And that's a core mindset as related to building. And again, this is one of the ways a lot of black men start out on a bad foot. And again, because the first woman in their life basically makes it where they're not thinking about building. They're just thinking about going out here, buying houses and cars. And I remember seeing a thing on Facebook where this guy just came into the NFL. First thing he does is buy his mother one of these mansions, not thinking about how that mansion is going to make money for him. He just thinking, I'm buying mama a mansion, not thinking about property tax, not thinking about maintenance, not thinking about insurance. again, spending money with emotion. And again, this is one of the things that impedes a black man from building because he doesn't have a mindset on wealth building early on. Always thinking about his, I'm a rich guy, got an NFL contract. And if you have that mindset of, I got money and I can spend it, all you're going to do is make other people wealthy at your expense.
Oh, most absolutely. You hit that right on the head. Most absolutely. And that's another thing too, right? Like I've had somebody ask, I've had somebody tell me, um, check this out, folks. I want y'all to listen to this. I had someone tell me that one of my problems as far as as a black businessman is that I don't code switch. So in other words, that how I should project my digital media station is that I should try to cater to all people. Now, if anyone that's listened to the Chris and Company radio show on www.niceradio.network.com, what do I always say? Support Black owned and Black operated digital broadcast media. Do you know what that means? That means that I'm not pursuing white business. I'm not. I'm only pursuing Black businesses because I am a Black media station. I am catering to Black owned businesses. And I'm not code switching. I'm not going to be like, hey, how's it going? Chris Bennett. That ain't happening. All right. Now, am I like, yo, homie, what's up, cuz? No, I'm not that either. I am who I am. The same gentleman that you guys are listening to right now is the same way I am off the air. I'm talking about how my tone is and how I approach and engage in conversation. So I don't do that. And because of what I talk about on Chris and Company, how passionate that I am on Chris and Company, and the seriousness of what is going on around us, from Dumb Donald, cackling Kamala, and these are I'm gonna just say it. They're losers that have failed upward, and one of these losers are going to run the country. Now, that doesn't, as me as a Black man, with everything that we're up against, that does not bode well. I'm not confident that either one of these two are going to work in the best interest for the Black community. Well, guess what? That's why I'm not voting for him. Guess what? That's why I'm not catering to white businesses. I am completely catered to Black businesses. So if you one of those people that, well, I've heard your content and that kind of makes me squeamish. This is not for you. All right. Business is business is business. If I'm talking about a very passionate subject like the prison industrial complex, Sean, did I give you that article?
I got the article how basically the prison industrial complex is making people into slave labor.
And Sean will talk about that on his, I'm quite sure, on a future YouTube broadcast, I'm sure. These are things that affect the Black community right here and right now. So what I do is that on Chris and Company, I stick to the economy. I stick to what's going on in a housing market, what's going on at the grocery store, what's going on at the pump, because a lot of us have kitchen table issues. And talking about Dumb Donald and Kamala is not going to get us very far. So it's my duty, and I take it as my responsibility when I'm doing the broadcast that I'm reaching out to people that look like me and other folks that are going through things like us that we're going through, and making it crystal clear that Kamala or Trump is neither one of our friends, and and if we are trying to assemble and come together, it has to start with us now. It's like what Malcolm X said when he put together his organization. He said white people can help, but they can't join. And he was crystal clear why. He said because we in the black community have got to get our stuff together. If we don't have it together here, it's not going to be together when we're including other people. This is exactly where I'm at. If I'm going to be the black businessman that I say that I am, I need to cater. NiceRadioNetwork.com must, and first and foremost, cater to black owned businesses first before looking above and beyond. You always have to take care of your house. I've explained that in previous barbecues. You don't take care of your house is going to take care of you, and you may not like it. And and when I mean take care of your house, that means you take care of like Sean takes care of SJS Direct. I take care of NiceRadioNetwork.com. I also pay the bills in this house. I also have to pay to the maintenance to keep the website going. But the first things is first. I make sure that my household is stable. Then I make sure that Nice Radio Network is okay. It's about there's a reason why there's order, discipline, and structure. There's order, discipline, and structure in place so that you can be successful in your endeavors in whatever you want to do. And sometimes that means maybe getting rid of a toxic woman. Absolutely. And let me tell you something. I have been with some fine ass women. They're not with me because you know why? I got rid of them. Why? Because I want to build. I want to create something, leave a legacy for my daughter, for my son, for my granddaughter. And I can't do that chasing ass. What I can do is if I happen to meet a woman that is really about being with me, I have to let her know that yes, this is what I do. I have my own radio digital media station. It's a station, guys. Like finally I've got the music channel working. Sean, I was pulling my hair out trying to getting the music channel together.
I remember talking to you about you've been doing that for a good year and a half or so.
Yeah. Finally, 6 weeks ago, finally just got it fixed. Okay. So that's what I mean. Like there are so many other things behind the scenes to make sure that I keep this going. Sometimes the internet is down. So if the internet's down, nobody can listen to the music channel. Nobody can listen to the rotation broadcasts on the talk channel. So I have to fix the problem. I have to troubleshoot. And the last thing I need is some broad screaming in my ear or copying an attitude with me, because I forgot to take the trash outside late last night.
And
I don't
what they
need
don't
that.
understand is that there are things that need to be done, and there's stuff that has to be done. You have to make sacrifices to get that stuff done, and they don't understand.
Hell yeah, absolutely, Sean. And so it's important. It's very important that the woman that's in your life, she represents you.
Yeah, because she's a reflection of you.
Yeah, and so when you are a businessman and you are conducting business, and let's say you bring her with you. You're going to a business event. You have She has to know that how she conduct herself will have a direct impact on you as a businessman, and and her being an extension of your representation. That's that's very important. And
Essentially
so
important.
yeah, listen, listen. I'm quite sure. Um, I can't think of her name. What is her name? Ebony, the Amber. I'm quite sure that Amber chick that supports Trump, yes, she's easy on the eyes. But if I was going to a black business seminar to network with other local black businesses, more than likely I'm gonna keep her at home or maybe at the hotel room, because I can't trust that she will be able to conduct herself in a way that would not be embarrassing to me and embarrassing to my platform.
Yeah.
And
Because the people
you have to know
you bring
that.
out are representative of you and your brand. And if they act out, it could cost you clients. It could damage your brand and your reputation. I mean, it could do serious damage. And that's why you have to be very careful about who you involve yourself with. And that's one of the hard things about being involved with these modern black women is that they don't understand that, again, you are a business. And when you're outside, you're representing your business, even if you're going out to take out the trash, even if you're going to the store. I mean, I remember about 2 weeks ago, I was with my family member, one of my other family members. We were going shopping for groceries, and one of my viewers noticed me. I mean, this is like the second or third time, even in my own neighborhood, people have noticed me. And I kept it professional because I understand that, again, you have to watch how you move out here. And that's something a lot of modern black women don't understand. That's what makes them a liability when black men are trying to build. I mean, when you're trying to build, this woman wants to act out. She wants to make it all about her when it's all about your brand and your reputation. It's about your business being taken care of. That's something they don't understand. And a lot of them don't understand this because they don't understand the entire process of business, because they have been conditioned to believe that everything is about a job. But when it comes to men, we're not supposed to be about jobs all the way. We're supposed to be like, yeah, we get a job, we make some money, but the ultimate goal is to get a business. And again, the business is what we're supposed to work on. But their whole mindset is job, job, job. But this is about business. And again, business is about knowing that you're going to be working all day. There's going to be a lot of different sacrifices. I know this from working at it on just the videos and the books. I mean, I have to give up weekends. I have to give up holidays. That's the way business works. And you were going to be, again, working real hard. You'll be working long hours. People don't understand this whole process. That's the other point I wanted to talk about is process. A lot of modern black women just don't understand the concept of process. They don't understand that things don't happen overnight. It takes time to get to a certain place and time to make progress. But they want things to be instant because they've been watching these soap operas and seeing these celebrities, but they don't see all the steps these guys took to get there over a period of years.
Oh yeah. And another thing too, the problem with modern women will see men like Sean and I and will run away because they know that we're going to hold them accountable. See, the reason why a lot of them run to Pookie and Ray Ray is because Pookie and Ray Ray is not going to hold them accountable. Pookie and Ray Ray is going to tell them what they want to hear. Pookie and Ray Ray is not going to have deep conversation with them. Pookie and Ray Ray is going to laugh all the way all their way inside the woman's panties. See, and that's the difference. I want to know, okay, what are your goals? What are your accomplishments? What do you like to do? You know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Those type of things. Modern women don't want to hear that. Modern women don't want to hear that at
That's too
all.
deep for them.
Exactly. And to compete for what? That's the thing. To compete for what? That modern women will look at my studio and say, "Ah, Why you ain't making a whole bunch of money? Because the reason that I'm not making a whole bunch of money in her, the way like a chick like her would see it, is because I'm I'm geared for a target market. And gearing yourself for a target market, I'm not worried about the bottom line. I'm not. So, you need to be doing this. No, I don't. What I need to do is get rid of you. you
Yeah.
see, that's how that works. And let's look, look, uh, Cardi B. Let's use her for an example. Well, supposedly she's going to divorce. Is it Offset? One of the
Offset.
Migos? Yeah. Well, here's the thing about that. She expects Offset to go out, make money, go to these concerts. He's going to interact with all types of people. He has a couple of women that hit on him, and then in her mind, she thinks that he is just supposed to be, just all committed to her. But yet, this is the same woman that drugged men when she was a stripper, taking their money and things of that nature. Nobody blinked an eye. She didn't receive any backlash for that. None of that. So when Karma decides to knock on her door, now she's pissed off. Now she's upset. Now she wants the divorce, and yet she doesn't even take the time to hold herself accountable for her past transgressions. And so this is what we have. So really she's doing Offset a favor. If she's going to divorce him, Offset's going to win that situation. It's because look what he's, hold on. You upset about my transgressions when you've done things far worse? Really? You did
But
things
she's a hypocrite.
that her sorry ass needs to be in jail for. But this is the crackheaded environment that we live in, where modern women should not be held accountable. If they are held accountable, then you shouldn't pass judgment on them. And hey, I am woman, hear me roar. And you got a lot of these goofball shows out there, like the Real Housewives of Hoes, Tamron Hall, The View, the Real, and all these other anti-black men shows. I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of. First of all, I'm sick and tired of that media, big time. But the other thing is, socially, is that I do not take no crap from no broads, not at all. And I am willing to be by myself and be happy and stable and cooler than the fan, than to have some floozy hoe that brings more problems and is nothing more than an absolute liability. And you've got to stand 10 toes deep on that. You've got to say what you mean what you say, and do what you say you are going to do. And hold on, Sean, before I give it back to you, before I I'm gonna use myself as an example. When I first met Sean didn't know me. Sean, and Sean had every right to be skeptical. When I showed him my website and what I'm doing and everything, I specifically told him, I said, Sean, the website is a work in progress, but as time goes on, it's going to get better and better and better. And the more content that's on there, the more it's going to help you, because with your blog and you and I doing our broadcasts, right? We crisscrossing and everything. Not only I want I want exposure for the website, but along with my website, Sean is on it. Well, okay. Who is this Sean James guy who's on Mr. Chris's broadcast? Now let me go check out Sean. That's a beautiful thing. I'm bringing something to the table that he benefits, but at the same time, I'm still working on not only bettering my product, but also bettering myself as a producer and content creator. So when it comes to relationships, it's not always just about men and women, on that level. It's also business relationships and being a man of your word. And in today's day and age, that's all we really have. I mean, look at all the losers out here. Diddy, and you think he was a man of his word? Hell no. And yet, and we don't really know these people. So yeah, if for me to reach out to Sean, I reached out, with an olive branch, and I'd let my actions speak louder than my words. And now we have a good, we have a good colleague, business friendship. And if there's something that he wants to ask me or whatever, he can, and we can discuss it. And anytime, my door is always open. So those type of business relationships, personal relationships, they should have a dichotomy to them where you can connect and communicate to the person that you're connecting and communicating with.
Yeah, you should have that type of business relationship. I mean, all the whites and non-blacks have that business relationship, but a lot of black people, we don't build those business relationships, and it really hurts our community overall, because one of the big problems that we have in the black community is that we don't have black men in the community working together with businesses, because we try to build these businesses, but they don't get much support, but we have to work together. And that's one of the things I like about our relationship as a business relationship, Mr. Chris, is that we're working together to build a business relationship and be able to work with each other. And that's one of the things that I see that we have a hard time with, because again, a lot of us in the black community, we don't have this producer mindset. And we have to have that producer mindset as related to producing products. And again, building a relationship with the customer, being professional. And that's something that, again, gets impeded by a lot of the modern black women. Because a modern black woman, again, she's been indoctrinated by feminism. She's been indoctrinated to believe everything is about her and only her. And all she's thinking about is consuming. So when you start talking about investing, that's when she gives you resistance. That's also what I run into. Oh, why you spending money on that book cover? Why you spending money on trying to make a comic? You run into this type of resistance. They don't understand that things take time to pay off. Again, another thing with the modern woman is she doesn't understand that things take time to eventually build value. I mean, what you're doing when you're investing is spending money, yes, today, in order for it to make money tomorrow. They expect everything to have these instant results. Again, a lot of it has to do with them sitting there seeing a lot of these entertainers. A lot of it has to do with them seeing a lot of this stuff they see in soap operas and movies and TV. They expect this guy to come out being the 6-figure or 7-figure man automatically and immediately, but it don't work that way. And when they don't see those results, they want to get mad at you and get upset with you, not understanding that every day you're working slowly to keep building those blocks up, because the way you start out isn't the way you finish. I mean, when you first came to me, yes, you were building your website. And I understood, because I had been building my website, also been writing, publishing my books. I started out doing my books with hand-drawn book covers, and it took me over a decade to get to the point where, thank God, I can now hire comic artists and hire professionals to design my covers. I understood where you were coming from, because I had been there myself, and I understand it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And when a guy is starting, this is where they need the support, and that's why I support brothers like you, because I want to see you start and then move on, because when you move on, that's when you start taking yourself to another level. And again, this is a slow process, and again, this is something black women don't understand, again, because they see things through the instant perception of television and movies. They don't understand that it takes years for a man to get to a certain point as related to success. He doesn't get to the point of making that $1 million in the beginning. He's got to start out Maybe he may make $100 profit here or there, but it takes time to get there. But a lot of black women don't want to stay as related to that journey. No, they want the fast money because a lot of those sisters who grew up in the 80s, that's why they wanted the dope boys because they wanted the fast money. And they didn't understand that if you want to build something, it's going to take a while to get there. And it's going to take a while because where you are right now, you have to start taking slow steps to get to that next level. And that's something many black women don't understand. And when you try to explain it to them, they just don't get it.
No, they don't get it. But there's another thing too. The modern woman, unfortunately, has been enabled by so many different apparatuses that it's insane. Think about it. Modern women have been enabled by media. That's why you had the Ricky Lake shows and the Jenny Jones shows where they enable bad behavior, where women wanted to just do whatever they want to do, but they didn't want to be judged. Then you got the government. So the government tells you, yeah, we can give you some free housing, we can cut you a welfare check and some food stamps, but you can't have that man in your home. So they get addicted to government zaddy.
Yeah.
And so that drives, that drives a wedge. So you have all of these things that are constantly against the black man. And when black men call out other people's bullshit, when we call out modern women's bullshit, what do they say? Well, not all women. When we call out the white man's BS, what do they? Well, not all white people. When we call out other non-black cultures who disrespect us black folks, Haitians, what do they say? Well, not all of us. So my thing is, I do a them on them. When I speak on Chris and Company, yeah, all white people do this. All modern women do this. Now, you know why? Because I want them. I'm going to force them to feel the frustrations that we black men have had to deal with. So with that, on my platform, what I do is that I am totally anti-establishment. I am totally against mainstream media. I am totally against these modern women who have been enabled by the government and been enabled by the media. And when I do my broadcast, I do not dare have modern women on my broadcast because I don't want no harpies. I don't want no disrespecting harpies that's going to disrespect my broadcast. And you know what? I'm going to send you a video where Brittany Renner disrespected these guys' broadcast, and then she wonders why she's in the situation she's in. See, the thing is that what you give out in the world is going to come back to you twofold. And now what's happening, and before people say Kevin Samuels, listen, I was saying this stuff way before Kevin Samuels was saying it when I was doing Chris and Company on Blog Talk Radio. So he's no spectacular shit. May he rest in peace. But listen, Kevin was listening to some of my broadcasts. I guarantee it he was. With all of that being said, there's a lot of low quality women out there. And because there's low quality, there's a lot of men that just they've checked out. Now, I know me and Sean have differences of philosophy when it comes to the Passport Brothers, but I understand Passport Bros. I really do. I understand their philosophy in the sense that just because I want to look for love and I want to find me a traditional woman, I don't have to sit here in the States and just accept what's here. If they're not finding if they're not finding what they're looking for here, I'm all for them flying overseas to go find what they're looking for, because at least with most of those guys, right, their heart is in the right place. They're not looking to sleep with a whole bunch of chicks. Most of them aren't, and they're looking to find a good woman to settle down with that shares the same values, and guess what, a man can meet a woman and they can't, and they have a major language barrier, but you know what will shine through? Values. If you share the same values, that's a love language in and of itself, regardless of whether one person speaks Spanish or other person speaks Chinese or the other person speaks English. That is a language. Value has a love language of its very own. The problem with passport bros, they have a lot of simps in those groups, and the simps in those groups make it bad for the passport bros that are genuine about looking for decent women. And so they end up being the very same type of modern women, but more like modern men that they want to get away from. So when they go to another country, the only thing on their mind is sex, 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 not embracing the culture, not taking the time to get to know the people, get to know the history of the country. Um, don't bother going to their national museums, not, don't bother going to, their, their halls of their history halls. That's not the word. I can't think of the word right now on the top of my head.
Museums.
But what was that?
They go to museums, you can learn about history there.
Right, exactly. But no, not those guys. Those particular type of passport bros, all they wanted, they see booty, 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 and that's what they do. And what they do, they make it harder for passport bros with great intentions, who got honest and gentlemanly intentions. Because here's the thing, no man, we men are territorial, and just like we get territorial here in America. What do you think a man in Colombia sees a black American brother running around grabbing two girls, locals, on their behind up in a bar? He might feel some kind of way about that, and I don't blame him. And these passport bros, they go in to these countries only thinking about getting laid. Not all of them. I'm just talking about the ones that make it. I'm just talking about the bad ones. And so, I've had conversations with passport bros, and I told them, I said, you know what, guy, you're going to have to cut some of these guys out your ranks. But he's a passport bro. Yeah, but all he's thinking about is ass, 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 ass. When you go into another country, you got to respect that country, its culture, their customs, their holidays. You got to respect all that, not just go and just hit on their women. And when you do that, you put a target on your back. That's why we've been seeing a lot of these YouTube stories of passport bros being robbed, passport bros even getting killed because they thought with their penis and not with their head. And when you do stuff like that, you'll end up dead. So yes, nice rhyme, huh? But I mean, but that in all seriousness, so you still have to carry yourself a certain way. And just like in relationships, just like when I'm working here in my office, in my studio office, there's a way that I carry myself, right? So, if I get an email, I've reached out to Tariq Nasheed. I talked to him on his Twitter space. I'm looking to do a collaboration with him soon. So there's the things that I'm in here like, sending an email, hey, hey, my name is Chris Bennett, I have a website and a broadcast, and I would like for you to be on it and things of that nature. It's not going to get done by itself. So the way you carry yourself is everything. It really, it's more than what people think. And this is coming from a guy. I was an absolute misfit when I was in the Marine Corps. Okay. I was I I was the guy that, hey, it was nothing for me to get in trouble, and the drill instructors would tell me to drop and give them 50 push-ups or whatever. I mean, it was like chewing bubble gum to me. But even at a certain point, I knew when to turn it off. Like, yeah, maybe today is not a good day to be horsing around, right? And so, you when you have that level of discipline in you, you can stay focused to the task at hand. And so yeah, everything that I'm saying to everyone out here on the World Wide Web, I apply that to myself too, because I know that as a black businessman, I know that when I'm not on the air and I'm not being Mr. Chris and all of that, that when I put on a shirt and tie and I go into a black business, I'm strictly business. I go in, I just stick my hand out. Hey, Chris Bennett, niceradioproductions.com. How are you today? And do you have a little bit of time where I can sit down and talk to you and see if we can do some business and go about that. And so a lot of times, we live in an era, unfortunately, where everything is supposed to be instant, where I got to be making my money right now today. I need to be rubbing elbows with such and such today, and it doesn't work like that. And if it did, shouldn't you be skeptical? Like any money that you get maybe a bit too fast, too, and it just kind of it just happens with no string attached. Wouldn't you be skeptical? I know I would. Like, I would like to develop a business relationship and make sure that, hey, okay, the money that you paying me is going to be applied towards this, and that, and and keep it that way. Nothing with any strings attached. Oh, by the way, Chris, I'm gonna need for you to do this for me because hey, I did buy that airtime. No, 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 no. That's not how none of this works. and so yeah, it's the way you carry yourself as a person personally should also be the way you carry yourself in in business. And two things can be true. You can be yourself and be a businessman. You sure can.
I know
And
that 'cause I do that every day.
right, right, exactly. So it's critical. The type of woman that you have in your life, it's critical. And so um these are major steps, right? And remember, you want to be with a woman that's about cooperation and not competition. That's another
Yeah.
thing too. You don't want to be in a relationship with a woman who's being competitive with you, because that's going to cause problems too. And,
She's gonna be working
and
against you. As you're putting the building blocks up, she's tearing them down, and you're not getting anywhere. That's the whole thing about being with the wrong woman, is that she will just basically tear everything down that you're trying to build. And that's what I ran into in 2009. And it basically set me back because everything I was going to do right now, I was getting ready to do back then, but I wasn't able to build on that momentum. And I had to go underground for a while. I had to do things in quiet. And it's like, I had to start all over again in 2013. And then people started to notice me in 2018 after like 5 years. It took years for me to get back to that point. And finally, I started to make a little bit of progress, but people don't understand how much work goes into things because again, when you've got to deal with a lot of these modern black women, again, they don't understand process. They don't understand it takes time to get somewhere. And they basically, again, have this mindset of job, 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 work for somebody else. But that's not how life works. I mean, if you want any sort of success, you can't get it working for somebody else. If you want success, you got to work for you. You got to be able to work on what you're doing. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have one of these jobs, but again, these employers don't owe you anything and they can basically get rid of you at any time. But a lot of black women don't understand that because the feminist movement always taught them about jobs, but never taught them about being entrepreneurs, never taught them about ownership because they get their needs met by men, but they don't understand that a black man out here, we are on our own and we have to go out here and meet our own needs because in the system of white supremacy, they're not looking to meet our needs. We are the last hired, first fired. And if we are on the job, somebody's looking to get us out. So they don't understand the entire experience of being a black man. They don't understand how black men operate and why we want to have our own stuff because we don't know how long we're going to be on one of these jobs. We don't know if we're going to get fired the first day in because people will get upset with you again because they don't have any dark roast coffee at the deli and look to get you out of the job. Or you got females on the job looking to project all their issues about Pookie onto you. So a black man, when he gets out here and he's working to build his business, a lot of times we be looking to build our businesses out here. And a lot of times the sisters, again, who are ratchet and raggedy, not all sisters, there's a lot of good sisters out there. So I got help from sisters as related to the cover for Samurai Goddess in 2017. A sister in 2021 gave me the money to help me start the John Haynes at Death Store comic, in addition to the sister in 2009 who helped me to get that first radio show. Again, I've gotten support from good black women, but the good sisters, again, they don't really get that gratitude. And again, they get undermined. All of our work, the good sisters and us brothers, gets undermined by that small contingent of black women. And that small contingent of black women, again, they are just like similar to the slaves on the plantation. They just basically want to continue working for white mommy and white zaddy as they're been enabled. They don't understand what it means to go out on your own. They don't want to take that power because they're afraid of taking that power. What they're afraid of is seeing a man in a leadership role because they depend on the system of white supremacy. They depend on the government. They depend on corporate America. And the only thing they want to see you on is one of these jobs just working yourself to death for somebody else. Or if you're still trying to work there, they're trying to get you fired, even if you're trying, you can't really build. Because again, these women basically, they get in the way of everything. They are looking to, again, hinder you because they don't want to have you in the job market. Because again, some of them, they don't like black male competition because black men, when we get on the job, we make sure we get it done right. But they don't want us on there. So they mess things up. They mess things up for us on the job and they mess things up for us as related to building businesses. And that's what makes it hard for black men to get involved with some of these toxic black women because you can't build anything with them because they tear everything down that you try to put together.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most absolutely. And that makes it harder for us. That makes it harder for us because, like I said, we got all these forces against us, Sean.
Yeah.
We got these forces against us. If it's not the modern women, it's the Pookies and Ray Rays that we have to deal with because we constantly have to prove ourselves that, not all black men act this certain way, with a smoking a black and mild with saggy pants. Like it's ridiculous. And yet, and yet the system of white supremacy will always enable a modern woman tool until it breaks its tool, quote Professor Black True. And so with that, we have to purge our ranks. We really do. I remember watching a YouTube video of a woman saying that if you are financially well off, you can't stay in the hood anymore. And she's absolutely
I did a whole
right.
show on that.
Yeah.
These folks are like crabs
absolutely.
in a bucket.
Absolutely. Once I retired, once I've got my full military retirement, I wasn't the same no more. I know that I know where I was living at the time in Cleveland. I was getting a better car. I bought me a better television set, and and I don't know if anybody was watching me or whatever, but I sure wasn't taking any chances. And so when an opportunity came, when my lease was up, I moved. Why? Because now I'm in a better situation where I can help the Black community and Black veterans, but I got to make sure that I'm in a better place to do that. And so that's just the reality of the situation. I live in a well-to-do neighborhood. However, you guys know me more than my neighbors do. My neighbors don't know that I do this fantastic broadcast, and neither should they know, because it's not about them and it's not for them. See, that's the thing. When when you're in a position that you can help people who look like you have to make sure that you are all right. See, if I'm in a troubling place, but I want to help my brothers and sisters out there, then how can I do that when I've constantly got to watch over my own shoulder in my own house, my own neighborhood, whatever? Taking care of home is everything to personal self growth. It's everything. Because if
We
you
can't
do
take
not
care of
have your
ourselves.
house in order,
If we
nothing
can't
else is
take
going
care
to
of
be in
ourselves, we
order.
can't take care of other people.
You sure can't. You sure can't. Listen, this should be an absolute wake up call with what's going on with Diddy. Because talk about a guy who didn't take care of his house. This guy should have had a lawyer. He should have had a lawyer living in his house for every deviant thing that he did. So, so that when the day came that the FBI wanted to ask some questions, he'd have a lawyer right there to help him out with that. He should have been, financing politicians' campaigns so that, if a problem persisted, maybe, just maybe, he could have got a little bit of a bail. You know, I, I think he's a piece of shit that he wanted to put up his mother's house as part of batter bail, and I think that was a bitch move. But outside that, that's where he should have been doing. And now his whole house is crumbled. It's a house of cards. There are other people in the media, other people in positions of power that's been affected by it. And 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 check this out. Did you know that Vince McMahon also has a sexual assault, sex trafficking case against him? You ain't been hearing much about it. Yeah, the Netflix documentary of Vince McMahon is coming out on the 25th, in the next, in fact, this coming Wednesday. Yet that's not even getting nowhere near the media coverage that Diddy is receiving. And so he should be a case study on what not to do when it comes to not taking care of your business.
Yeah. She is a case study on what not to do when taking care of your business. What I found interesting about Diddy is he could have did like the NWA rapper Yella and could have just started an adult entertainment business and done things legally, but instead what he wanted to do was get power by humiliating and degrading women as related to this deviant behavior that he was participating in. I mean, this was all about power for him and control of people. And again, he wasn't looking to take care of his business. He basically was looking to humiliate and destroy people. And that really showed again by his whole actions, because all he had to do was like Yella and create an adult entertainment production company. He could have hired adult film stars and did all of this legally. But he goes out here and participates in trafficking with male prostitutes, and then looking to coerce these women and then drug them as related to these allegations. And it just showed that Diddy, again, didn't know how to take care of his business. And now he's basically about to lose everything, all because he got caught up in deviancy. And what's really troubling to me is that when it came to modern black women, they'll sit there and support guys like the neighborhood weed man, the neighborhood dope man, Pookie and Ray Ray, and guys like Diddy. But when quality brothers come to them with legitimate businesses, they don't want nothing to do with that. And it always made me scratch my head about how modern black women, when you start talking about legitimate business, they don't want to help you build that. But if the neighborhood dope man comes along, they want to be the girl. They want to stash the stuff. They want to be out here running the stuff across state lines or putting it in their bag. But if the black man asks them to go out here and help them work on a project or help them tell people about the project, you get a completely different attitude. And that's one of those things that's always made me scratch my head regarding modern black women. When the black man is out here talking about illegal stuff to tear up your community, you're down with it. But when the black man starts talking about building, these women can't be found, or they talking about they can't work with you, or things are not right, or they want to complain about everything. They got everything to say bad to the black man building the business, but the people destroying your community, like Diddy, they all want something to do with him. And I have to wonder if that's part of the self-hatred that many black women have regarding themselves and all the issues they've had regarding white supremacy's impact on their minds.
Exactly. Now, they'll bypass a broadcast like you and I are doing right now, and they'll go and run and listen to some ratchet stuff like Diddy and not understand the clue. They could learn more from this broadcast than anything they'll ever learn with Diddy's downfall, basically. And that should show, like I said, that should be a case study of what you don't do when you don't handle your business. And so, it's listen, modern women, it's basic, Sean. They go through their whole phases in their 20s and 30s. They wait to around their mid 30s. Now they want to settle down. And then they have a hard time finding a man to settle down with because their body count is, well, their body count is too high to count. And, they don't want to, no real man who got his shit together don't want to deal with that. I'll say this again. No real man wants to take care of another man's children. And that's also a play in this as well, because it was like what Kevin Samuels said, that 80% of women only go after 20% of the men. And the other 80% of the men are discarded, left behind, or when she's 300 pounds and 7 kids later, oh, now she's interested in the lower 80% in her mind. And that's what they do. And it's a constant cycle of bad judgment, bad choices, and no accountability. I sent you a couple of videos. Did I send you the Brittany Renner one?
I'll take a look and see if I've got that.
And she did this video talking about her situation. Now, a situation that she put herself in, right? And
Oh, I don't have that one yet. So
you don't have that one yet? Okay.
Are you telling them about it? I have to go. I'll be right back. You tell them about Brittany Renner, and I'll be right back.
Okay. So So when it comes to modern women, they're enabled. They're completely enabled. If you come across a woman that's in her 40s and 50s, even 60s, and she's good looking and she's single, there's something wrong with her. That is a red flag. And if you as a man, you are out on a date with a woman like that, please, by all, you must ask her, well, a good looking woman like you, why are you single? And if she squirms or have a problem with it, it's because of her bad decisions that she does not want to face. Simply put, simply put. And so, you know, think about it. We black men are always held accountable for what we do. We're always accountable for what we do. Isn't it time that we give it back to the very white supremacy system? I think so. I'll give it all back to them. Give it back to the Roland Martins and the Ricky Smileys. Give it back to the modern women. Give it back to dumbasses like Michael Eric Dyson. Hey, Michael Eric Dyson, I've got a video lined up for you. It's coming soon. Just you go to my Twitter. Please follow me on Twitter because I will put it there first. So and I'll put my Twitter handle in the chat room in a few minutes. And so we need to call these people out because they are all, and let me be crystal clear, they are all an absolute threat to black empowerment. They don't want black men to rise. They don't want black men to be successful. And so we have to push through that barrier. We have to push through what's being put against us. I didn't say make excuses. No. I didn't say make excuses. I said push through. You know, it's like what Yosemite Sam has said when he told Bugs Bunny. Sometimes you're forced to use force. And this is those times now. We are in a time right now where we got a dumbass cosplaying black woman running for president. She didn't even earn, check out, y'all. She didn't even earn the nomination. It was just handed to her. Here you go. Didn't have to vote for it or nothing. Then you got Dumb Donald. Poor guy. But he's been shot at twice. Nobody knows nothing. Kamala has yet to say anything about it. Biden says, well, we just need more Secret Service men. Well, dumbass, ain't that your job? Ain't that what you do? You are the president of the United States, right? And then what they all do, just like with reparations. Oh, if I'm president, I'll have a study and I'll give it to Congress. No. It's just another way to keep progressive black men like Sean and I from breaking through the glass ceiling. And so guess what? Damn about being polite. That's why I talk the way I do, because think about it. When we did sit across the table, especially during the civil rights era, and we were polite, we still got spat in our faces. Not, well, sometimes physically, but mainly literally. We were talked down, and then our situation in the inner cities didn't change. And then the same people that won't do nothing will say that it's our fault. It's our fault why our communities are the way they are. So I'm done with all of that. I'm done with all of that. And you should be too. I know I am. And if you're not with us, you are against us. If you are not with Black empowerment, you are against Black empowerment. And that's how I look at it. And I see a lot of the attitudes changing. I'm seeing a lot of black folks not just with the vote blue no matter who type of crap. They stopped putting their money in these so-called black community churches that ain't doing shit for the neighborhoods. They just while they're just running around here, these pastor pimp prostitutes out here getting new Cadillacs every 2 years. The neighborhoods that they so-called representing hasn't changed, and they don't even give back to the community. So it's a new day. I'm not talking about the new day on WWE, but it's a new day, and I'm seeing it. What's that, Sean?
It's a new day about to break up.
Yeah, they're about to break up. Yeah, they're about to break up, but it's still a new day. I don't think Kamala's winning. From the metrics and everything that I've seen, I don't think Kamala's winning. I think that's a good thing because that'll wake more black people up to understand the reality of the situation that's going on about us. And with that, we don't have any expectations of Trump. We don't have any expectations of Trump. So you can't get blood out of a turnip. That's a nice Southern saying that was told to me when I used to live in Georgia years back. And so you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. So we expect nothing from Trump, right? So that's fine. It's the Democrats that are out here chasing us down, talking about we should vote for them, but they don't have nothing for us.
It's like what's on
so as far as I'm concerned, I've nailed down my three choices who I'm going to vote for in the presidential election. It's the Incredible Hulk, it's Bugs Bunny, and also Grogu, Baby Yoda. So those are my three picks right now. Now I could also vote for the couch too, but I'm still trying to figure out which one can sway me. It could be Bugs Bunny, right? The girlfriend wants me. My girlfriend wants me to pick Baby Yoda, but I don't. But I'm still debating, right? The Incredible Hulk. He's my favorite superhero. So I've got a lot of decisions to make, when I vote, and I'm going to vote early. So I'm not going to be screwing around with all of this. I'm not going to be screwing around with all of this, wait till November 5th. Plus I'm going to be doing an all-day live broadcast on November 5th anyway. So I'm going to be busy here in studio. So yes, we're starting to get our just due, but that's not enough. We need to be out on the forefront building. And that's why I collaborate with Sean. That's why I collaborate with Tori and Rain and Kid Gravity. I've been on their broadcast. I'm hoping to interview Tariq Nasheed very soon. And so, we got to try, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen November 6th, nieces and nephews. Kamala loses. The mainstream maggot mayonnaise media, black bootlicks, they're coming after us. They're going to be hypercritical, and they're going to start name dropping B1 new black media content creators. So if I just got this one request. If you ever hear the name Mr. Chris on one of those mainstream black bootlick radio shows, please get a hold of me by any means necessary. Because if my name comes out of the mouths of the Steve Harveys, the Ricky Smileys, the Roland Martins, You think what we do on a Friday night is a barbecue? Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, no. It will be an epic roast of roasts. All right. I will stop at nothing to get back at these guys. So we can do that. I want that smoke. I really do. So I am not worried about the black bootlicks out there trying to tell us that we should vote for Kamala. All right. Miles Eric Dyson. He's gonna be the new internet is not, I mean, the new internet is undefeated group, because he sat up there on CNN and he jumped all on that white woman's face, that Congresswoman Nancy Mace. And then what Nancy Mace, she screenshot all and text, and she screenshotted all the text that Miles Eric Dyson was sending her. All right. And there's a picture out there where he was hugged up on her and all this other stuff. And he was badgering her on CNN, talking about you need to pronounce Kamala's name. It's Kamala, not Kamala. It's Kamala. It's Kamala, and all that. It was just for show. And that's what these guys do. The breakfast coons with Charlemagne, the clown coon, DJ Penis Envy, Angela Rye with lettuce tomato on the side. These people don't believe a damn thing that they say. They're grifters. They're grifters. They're on the same side of the coin as Candace Owens. And what they try to do is to distract and distort how black people should think and how black people should vote, where it goes against black empowerment itself. That's what these guys do. And if we sit back, and I'm talking about the B1 New Black Media, if we sit back and just allow these maggot bastards to just be comfortable on their platforms to say, you black folks, y'all need to be voting for Kamala because y'all don't know what y'all blah, blah, blah. If you let these guys get away with that crap, they're going to continue to talk at us like we're soft, like we're spineless, like we some children. Somebody's got to stand up to them. Mr. Chris is here to help. I'm about to send you 2 more video files, and because I want you to play them all. And if you guys want a copy of my videos, leave your email in the chat and I'll get it to you, because I'm sick and tired of these black bootlicks. Okay, they kiss white media zaddy's ass, and they go on these platforms and they talk down to us and they talk at us like we're soft and spineless about who we should vote for, knowing they don't have the balls to say it to our face. You see how Roland Martin folded up like a piece of aluminum foil when that brother checked him and called him out on his bullshit out in Chicago. So in that way, that'll stop them from doing that. But if we don't check them, if we don't chin check them on that stupid stuff, especially Ricky Smiley. I did a previously on Chris and Company. So I took an excerpt of what I said about Ricky Smiley from my broadcast, and I made a promotional video out of it. Oh my God. When I show you that, I've already sent it to Ricky Smiley himself. And right now I want him to do something about it. I want Ricky to come at me. I want all the smoke. Bring it. So I'm not playing with these fools. I don't need Sean to help me or anything with that. But the thing is simple. The black folks, Joy Reid, she's another one. Al Fat Ass Sharpton or Fat Skinny Sharpton. We're not going to sit back and have them call us Russian bots, talk to us crazy. They act like the very same white people that they claim that they're not. And we need a media apparatus to let them know, hey, fuck you. You ain't nothing. You just as much as a coon in Sambo to black society, because you're only worried about your job. You ain't worried about what's going on in the real black community. You don't care about black empowerment. And somebody has to let them know, we will roast you, we will barbecue you, and we will stop at nothing to do it. That's the only way it could be. That's the only way. Then that way, when they get on their platforms, they'll stop talking greasy. They won't be like, well, you take Tariq Nasheed's and you Jason Black's. Well, guess what? I rock with Tariq Nasheed. I rock with Jason Black. And Professor Black Truth is my boy. That's my boy right there. So, and I cap for him. Now I don't cap for no one else, but I do cap for Professor Black Truth. If you come at him, you're going to have to deal with me. If you come at Sean James, you're going to have to deal with me. You come at Kid Gravity, Torian Rain, you're going to have to deal with me. And I'm not on YouTube. I have my very own platform. And I could sit here and roast you day after day. And what are you going to do? You're going to shut down my website? You'll die trying to do that. So that's the thing. We can't just sit around and let people talk against our black interest. I mean, our best black interest when there's men like Sean and I and a few others that are out here saying, listen, black folks, we've got to stand on our own 2 feet. And this is the way to do so. And so, I'm very passionate about that. And I'll be damned if some monkey from the Ricky Smiley show or the Steve Harvey Coon show try to tell black folks what they're not going to get. Who the hell are they? Hell, Steve Harvey, he can't even handle his marriage. He can't even handle. I have a more stable home life. And I'm not married than he does, and he's married. And so you think I would take advice from that maggot?
He doesn't even
Ricky
take care of his
Smiley.
own business.
Right. And then let's talk about Ricky Smiley's zesty punk ass. He goes around, he wears women's dresses, dresses up as a snot-nosed punk little boy, but yet we're supposed to take him seriously when it comes to manhood? No, he deserves a punch in the face for that alone. He deserves a punch in the face for trying to pretend to be a man, because he's only a man in name only. Hey, Sean, roll some of that beautiful footage that I sent you.
Okay. And we'll start with the Roland Martin.
I tell you what, Puffy.
What's the Puffy one?
Your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets. Who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in. So, you know they're going to get you if they can. It's a little crazy how Puffy get booted out the alcohol business and Jimmy Iovine steps in with Andre and Snoopy promoting it. It's never a good look when it comes to culture of hip-hop and for our community, our people. I turn myself in. Sometimes you gotta face the music. That's most of the time. Puffy, I'm gonna give you some real advice. 2 quick things. You gotta make a decision. When you go to prison, either you're gonna be standing up pissing squatting, sitting down, pissing. I advise you to try to take the first one. You know, if you're squatting, pissing on the seat, you know what that means. Oh yeah, by the way, do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
What? Look at you. What you got? Your ass in jail. You ain't got nothing to say about the way I'm handling my partner. Look, don't call my fucking house no more. My girl ain't feeling you. It's not happening, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, concentrate on not dropping the soap, you bitch ass. But that's all, fools.
There it is. That I go for the throat. I go for the gusto. I take no prisoners. And see, Sean, that's what I've been doing. I've been working on my video content. You know, think of me this way. If I was a wrestler with my video content, I'm the equivalent of Sid Vicious. Yeah. I'm that guy. Don't believe me? Oh, well, Sean, play the next one.
All right.
But that's all, fools.
I emailed you those other two too, Sean. So you might want to check your email. But yeah, I mean, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of these guys getting on their platforms telling black people or claim to tell black people what to do. If you don't humiliate them, you got to meet them where they're at and then humiliate them. If you don't do it, they'll keep on doing it. They'll keep on doing it. So guess what? They're not the only ones that have a platform too. So guess what? You talk grimy and greasy to us. This is how I communicate. This is my love language, guys. That's right. I love to hate on the haters of Black empowerment. So this is what I do. And I've gotten pretty good. I've cranked out about the internet, my whole internet undefeated series. I've cranked out about 6 of them, but I've done a lot of, previously from Chris and Company. I've done a lot of previous ones. In fact, one of the 2 is a previous one, and I specifically go in on Ricky Smiley. And so, yeah, if you guys in the chat room, send me your email address and I will send you a copy of this and make sure that you guys do your part to get these videos out on your social media platforms, because there needs to be a voice that says, hey, that we're not going to take your shit anymore. And if you don't do it, they'll keep doing it. They'll keep talking down to us. And then what's going to happen is that when the Democratic Party see, wait a minute, man, these guys, these guys like Angela Rye and Roland Martin, they, black people aren't listening to them either. Then they're really going to be upset. Don't use us for your gain. And that's what we need to put a stop to. If you're not for black empowerment, you're for white supremacy. Even if you're black, Candace Owens, Jason Whitlock, Shannon Sharp, who else? Angela Rye, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, all these goons. And so they need to be humiliated. They need to be embarrassed. And so, yeah, if you got a problem with us, come see us. I've made a tweet. I put a tweet out that about simping and how bad simping is. Well, Dr. Boyce Watkins had a problem with it, and then he was like, you need to come on to my broadcast. I was like, no, you come on to my broadcast. Who is you? What are you? All right. You talk about black empowerment, but you're on a white man's platform. Come on to a black-owned, black-operated digital broadcast media platform, and then you and I can have that conversation. All right. Because see, I don't just talk about it, I be about it. So you think I'm going to follow the likes of you because you and your vaginal feelings, because I said something about simping and how bad it is? Clearly, you was having a little bit of self-reflection. Now, wasn't you, Dr. Boyce Watkins? So, yes. So, sure, you want to come onto my platform because you mad about what I've said? Doors open. But enter at your own risk, because you will be humiliated. If you try to think you're going to come onto my platform to try to one up on me, you will get humiliated and embarrassed. You're going to wish that your mother swallowed you before you was ever born when I get done with you. I'm just saying. So you got the other two? Did you get the other two?
I have the other two.
Okay. Roland.
Okay. One second, just okay, just need a second to.
On Chris and Company.
Come November 5th, it can't get here fast enough because, simply put, not voting for neither Kamala nor Trump. I'm not, and there are a lot of more black folks that are not. Come November 6th, for all of you a-holes out there, and I don't care what color you are, even if you black bonehead, politically stupid folks too out there, if you come to spaces like this, if you come at me, I'm going to humiliate and embarrass you. If you come to me talking this crap, well, that's why Trump won, or blah, 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 or you should have voted. You don't tell me who to vote for. I'm a grown-ass man, and no man tells me what to do or how to do it. Get that? When the Boule Martins, Ricky Smiley, your ass is grass. You got him, D.L. Hughley, all of the Joy Reid, all of these mayonnaise, maggot, mainstream mafia media black bootlicks that are on CNN and MSNBC. You guys are going to get roasted November 6th. I'm telling you, and I'm going to call you out because we're sick and tired of being told what to do from other people who don't know shit about politics.
not gonna hear it, not gonna have it. But it's coming. Let me tell Ricky Smiley something. First of all, you have zero. And let me be crystal clear about you, Ricky. You have zero relevance on talking about black people should be voting for Kamala. Let me tell you something, boy. I would never follow a boy who runs around in a dress talking about voting for a so-called black woman that's not a black American, but will find it convenient to act like a black American when it suits her.
Speaking truth to power, being absolutely unapologetic. The Chris and Company radio show, broadcasting live on www.niceradionetwork.com. Tune in.
That took me a while. That took me a while to put together, Sean. But man, it felt good when I got done with that particular one. That felt great. My girlfriend couldn't stop laughing. She was clutching her stomach when she saw that one. Yeah. So, oh, you got the last one?
Yeah, I have the last clip.
Okay, go ahead and roll that one. That one's a short one.
All right.
I am personally offended by the way that blackness is being weaponized in this electoral cycle in order to justify white supremacist genocide in Gaza.
Hey, Angela, go ahead.
Well,
Dr.
I would like to respond.
Yeah.
This is the framing of the empire and the oligarchy and white supremacy and colonialism, which wants you to feel that resistance is futile. This is about voter blaming and voter shaming.
Let me just no.
What you're not going to say is that I'm ever parroting anything at the hands of white supremacy.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, Sean. That's the thing. These guys have gotten away with talking down and disrespecting men like us for the longest of time. If we don't say nothing, if we don't clap back at them, they'll just keep doing it.
Well, it's called setting a boundary.
Yeah.
Something black people don't know how to do. A lot of us are afraid of setting a line in the sand and demanding our respect.
Right. Now, if this is how I communicate to people who are against our best interest, you think I'm going to allow a modern woman to come into my ranks and mess up the program that I've had set in place? Are you serious? That is an impossibility. So yeah. And to set a mark that, hey, I'm not to be trifled with. We are not to be trifled with. And yes, like I said, I should do it. Oh, don't worry. Jay Smart says, Mr. Chris, you should do a parody of Michael Eric Dyson. Oh, yes, I am. He is my next victim. I'm going to do one of Michael Eric Dyson as well. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, some of the stuff that I've already got ready, I already got to pull it. pull it, screenshot it, and put it all together. Oh yeah, he's next. Yeah, Michael Eric Dyson is next. But see, this is what we have so many enemies on so many sides, Sean. You know, and we still have to fight through that to still do our business. And this is how things are for us, you know. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Because guess what? One thing about respect, if you can't get people to respect you the easy way, then guess what? Make them respect you the hard way. Yep. And well, I'm absolutely certain that you have stories where you had to force people to respect you. I have my stories, and guess what? This is where we're at today. This is where we're at. And come November 6th, when Kamala loses, Angela Rye, Roland Martin, and the rest of those guys, they're going to lose their collective minds and they're going to blame us. But we're not just going to sit back and take it. We are going to give them that business. I know I am. And so we're grown folks. You don't tell us what to do. If you are a black person out there and you want to vote for Trump, have at it. Have at it. You know why? Because we have pressing issues. We have other pressing issues. Hey Sean, can I put a link to the prison industrial complex story in the
chat? Link to it.
Yeah. People, when I tell you that the prison industrial complex ties into illegal immigration, it will make you absolutely angry. It will make you angry on an epic level. Why? Because there is a reason. There's an absolute reason why the illegals are here. And it's more than just making a bigger buffer class between the dominant society and black folks, but they're the cheapest labor out there. And more companies are going to find the cheapest available labor that they can find. But it was, how could I put it? It was unethical. It was unethical business-wise 20 years ago. Now it's the way to do business. And it all ties in. I just put a link in the chat room. You just copy. I don't know if it'll let you. I don't know if you can click. No, you can't click on it. But copy it because that's the URL to that episode. And please go listen to that episode. Please go listen to it. We get so fixated with the military industrial complex that the prison industrial complex makes equally amount of money that what the prison industrial complex does. And it's a work, Sean. It's all, you talk about professional wrestling. It's all a work. One of the reasons why, and one of the reasons why you have had a hard time looking for a job is because the jobs aren't available. They're not even available. Do you know, folks, that Microsoft hires immigrants, illegals? They hire illegals. The whole thing that, oh, well, these illegals are just are out and just only working in the fields and
that's what I was
tending
told.
to
they hire Chinese and Indians with H-1B visas and hire them for half price.
Yes.
And they have them with the tech jobs that guys like me who have certifications, we can't even get. And they are basically living here in New York and getting a whole lot of money and basically thinking they're living big, but they're struggling. I mean, they pay them half what they would pay us.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you read that whole article. The article is sick. It's sickening. Once again, send me your email address. I'll send that information. And here's the thing. The Associated Aryan Press covered the story. It was a story that took 2 years to put together. And yet the mainstream media is not talking about this. They're not talking about this at all. I was looking for one news story and I just happened to stumble across that. The rabbit hole is deep. The corporations, the corporate establishment is all about cheap labor by any means necessary. We're too expensive. It's not that we're not wanting to look for a job. It's not that we're lazy. We're far from it. Corporations do not want to pay the going wage rate when it comes to Americans looking for jobs, while they can, I'm just going to be brutal, okay, where they could take a retarded monkey off a banana boat, bring them over here, and have them do the very same job that requires a master's degree and give it to Pedro, Julio, or Sasha for $5 an hour. They've 25 years ago, it would have been looked at as unethical business, like lack of business ethics. But that's all thrown out the window now. It's all thrown out the window now. Like, and I know that's not what the subject matter is tonight, but I'm trying to let people know that modern women need to stop being modern women, get in line, start changing their attitudes, start getting with good, decent brothers like me and Sean, and start being contributors to the community. Help that man build if he's trying or he is building something, because we all we got, and it's only going to get worse. The jobs, AI is going to be taking over 40% of the job occupations within the next 25 to 30 years. That's some real shit. That's a real problem. And for a modern woman to go against black men, you're adding to a problem that doesn't need to exist. You're adding to it. You're adding to a problem that doesn't have to exist. You see how Angela Rye with lettuce, tomato on the side was acting. Wait a minute. Here's the funny thing about that. It took a white woman to tell a so-called black woman that her narrative was white supremacist. Check that out, Sean.
That's really surreal.
It would be funny if it wasn't so true and also pathetic, because once again, it just goes to show how ass backwards those people really truly are. They're absolutely backwards. And we need all the B1 voices that we can in order to fight back against the Rollins, the breakfast slobs, and Angela Rye and a few others. What about, did you see what happened on Revolt TV with what's her name, Teslin Figaro? And she was just all over the place. You know, you would think with a forum like that, you would have professionalism. There would be some type of candor. Everybody's just all over the place. She cut off a gentleman that was speaking real truth, but it wasn't her truth. So she got pissed off and mad, cut the guy off. That's why we're having this broadcast tonight. That's why we're having this broadcast tonight. See, Sean and I ain't gonna put up with that crap. We're not gonna put up with rudeness and disrespectful behavior on our platforms. We're not having it. So that's what happens when you call yourself being this woman and you acting like a hood rat. You no different than Sexy Red on your very own platform. And these are the things why we have a hard time being taken seriously as a Black collective when it comes to politics, because there's too much of that shit going on out there. There's too much of that.
Yeah,
and
too
so,
much of us going against each other and not working together.
Right, exactly. And so, I mean, you know, so she should have handled herself better. She should have had herself better. She should have took control of her show, her platform, and she just let it get out of control. And then she talking about she a big dog and she all this and she all that. I can't tell. You running that show just like every average, everyday, modern woman hood rat.
Yep.
And that's what we need to get away
build
from.
anything up. You're not helping anything. Most of this content that they put up on the air, again, it's just like the Black women out here who don't support the Black men who build businesses in the community. It's just there to just promote and perpetuate more white supremacy and more of this, again, back and forth that really doesn't take us anywhere. It just continues just things going on, but we never really achieve any sort of goal. I mean, I thought that you would think that the media would be trying to help Black-owned businesses, but these guys are just out to help themselves get their next job. And again, keep going back to that point of jobs, because that's where a lot of Black people get it all messed up. They think it's about working for somebody else, but never think about working for themselves, or never think about investing in themselves. And that is the saddest part. They don't understand how, you're supposed to be working for yourself and working towards achieving your goals. But what they think about, the only goal they have is to work for somebody else and be a drone doing somebody else's job. And they're not happy unless they see a Black man out here working for somebody else. But what's the use of working with somebody else if you're not looking to accomplish anything?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. We've got to swim uphill. We got to swim against the current in so many different ways. It's exhausting, but we got to keep doing it. We have to. Because if we don't do it, then who will, Sean?
Yeah.
And so don't worry. Just like I'm humiliated, ultimate pig man some months ago, this is my calling card. This is, somebody has to do it. But, because if we don't fight for us, then guess what? We can't fight for people who listens to us. We got to be the voice that can speak for the voiceless. I'm retired. I don't have to punch no clock. So my thing is, I can use my platform to say the things that most people, even most Black people, want to say, but they can't, because they do have to work a job and they do have to deal with either a bootlick Black boss or a white supremacist boss, and they need that job to because it's their livelihood to pay their bills. So yes, I am going to be that platform to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. And so, if you are listening to this broadcast and you are looking to build, you must vet the woman that you are with, and you need to set the tone early, not after you have sex with her, not after a few dinners. You need to set the tone when you first meet and be like, hey, I need to let you know that I do have a studio, I do have a broadcast, and I do this. I do this every day. Well, do you make money from it? Well, the money is none, and say, you know what, that's none of your. You could say either that's none of your business or that's not your concern or anything like that. Step because here's the thing. This, you're trying to build something, and when it comes to dreams, guess what? Money does not come right away, if at all. And so you got to be doing it for other for just money. So if a woman is acting that, and she, you might just want to get rid of her, but if you tell her, well, that's neither here nor there right now and has nothing to do with this conversation, and she's cool with it, then okay, fine. Then, keep on talking to her. But it'd be a red flag, though. That's a red flag. But, hey, so, I mean, you just need to do that because when it comes to dreams, nobody can see your dream, your vision better than you can. When I started out in radio, do you know my mother, for the first 3.5 years, she didn't hear me do a radio broadcast, none. And she was like, well, you better be making money doing this, ... When I celebrated my 3rd anniversary of Chris and Company back in 2012, she came, that was the first time she came to my broadcast. Her whole perspective of me changed. And she was so proud of me. She started, she cried. She was like, wow, you really put a lot of energy and time into this, and you sound really, really good, ... And so what did she do? She was like, well, Chris, if you need some wires, if you need a new microphone, just let me know and I'll help you with it. So her perspective changed how she looked at me because she saw what I was doing. She saw that I was passionate in it, and she saw success. She saw and heard success. And so, but sometimes you have to shut your family out when it comes to doing the hard work, because they're not gonna, they're not gonna see things the way you see them. They're not gonna see the sacrifices, so I was the finished product when she heard me. And her, my sister, my brother, they were all there. I did a live broadcast at a coffee house in Shaker Square, Cleveland. And I'm telling you, I was rocking the house. I had my first website, and I was broadcasting through there, and people were listening. I had guests on the show and everything. And I'm telling you, that was the very first time she had saw me do a live broadcast, and she was just like, I don't know why you doing this. You need to be taking care of your business and all of which I was, but it was just, people just don't see your vision, and a lot of times your family will be the last people that will see your vision. I have more people that listen to Chris and Company, right, that aren't family members than my actual family members themselves. It's just the way it is. I'm not mad at him. It's just, I'm not mad at him at all. My mother passed away. My mother passed away in 2013, but she was definitely one of my top supporters, and she would let people know, you need to hear Chris. Chris be going off. I don't like his language, but he be getting his point across. That's exactly. You might not like my language. My language is salty because I'm mad. I'm mad on how the United States of America treats black men. I'm mad that the United States Constitution looks at us black people as 3/5 of a human being. I'm mad that there are other black people that will talk against our best interests and confuse and distract our black internal politics. I am mad that there's so many modern women out there that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion are looked at as these rap moguls. Are you serious? Both of them, all they do is talk prostitution rap, only making in pushing socialized prostitution in and of itself. And so yes, I'm mad. I'm very mad about that. This whole concept that nice guys finish last because that's what society says. I'm mad about that because I am a nice guy. I am a nice guy, but I'll be goddamn if I finish last, because I don't finish last. I refuse to lose. And so I'm not going to let a modern skank take me out of my nature. And so yes.
I had to go stealth mode myself after that disaster in 2009 with that first radio thing. And again, I took years just working underground like you did, and I just kept it really quiet and kept things to myself. And I had to do that because, with a lot of black women, they don't see things unless they get the results. They wait till the results stage to start supporting you, like you said you did. And people, a lot of times, they don't see what you're doing, and they don't see how things have to take time to progress. They want to see these instant results, and that's what I ran into, and that's why I had to just stay real quiet. And then I had to just, as I was going on, 2015, started going to the library because I didn't have any internet at home, and just basically I had to go out here and do things on my own. Because again, when you're building a business, a lot of black women, they don't want to support anything until they see the huge money, because they're so used to these rappers and these ball players and these guys making big money. They don't understand that regular business is going to take time before you see any sort of results. It may take years. I mean, I've been writing books for years, and then eventually when I started doing the nonfiction, it started to get some exposure, and then started to pick up. And again, still I'm still out here on my own, but that's just the way it is. But the whole thing is, this is something that makes it hard for black men. When we try to build, it's just a problem because a lot of our sisters, they sit there, they don't understand, again, process. They don't understand that it's going to take a while. And again, this man is investing in the future. This is the big problem that they don't understand, is that you're investing in the future. And again, investment is going to take time. Sort of like what they said in the Bible about faith. It takes time to grow faith, and you have to believe in what you're not seeing. You have to have that vision to believe in what you don't see, and then you have to wait for God to bless you on what you don't see. But a lot of black women, again, they will talk about this stuff with the church, but when in real life they don't apply it. And that's the other thing that's just disturbing, is that they'll go out here and they'll preach this stuff about having faith, but then they don't have faith in you when you're trying to get work done. They don't have faith in you to get stuff done. They don't have faith in you to get your process done and get things taken care of. They don't have faith in you to be patient about things. They want everything rushed and ready. And again, want you to rush everything and don't understand that in order to get to the results, you're going to have to take time to do this. And it's one of those problems that, again, that makes it frustrating to try to build with black women. They just sit there and they just, again, want to get upset about things, talking about why you're spending this money, why are you taking time to do this, why are you doing these things. It's like, no, this is how you work towards the future. And that's the whole thing that's just, again, on the problem when you're dealing with black women. They just give you so much stress as you're trying to build and trying to knock everything down. And then again, you have to work around them. That's another thing I've been doing for years. You got to work around black women. You can't tell them anything, because what they'll do is start getting in their feelings. Oh, because they don't understand things, and because they don't understand things, they just get in your way and make it hard for you out here. And you want to get stuff done, but you can't get things done with them. And that's why I have to work around them for many years. And again, this is so frustrating because you have to work around people in your own family. You're trying to get stuff done, and you can't tell them anything, because if you tell them something, it's a crab in a bucket situation, and it could basically tear down everything that you're trying to build.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why, I really didn't get too much detail to my mother when I first started out learning radio, because I know she wouldn't have understand it. She would have, she was, thinking like the average person of, oh, you trying to do it like Tom Joyner. It's like, oh my gosh, no, it doesn't work like that, right? And so yeah, you absolutely right, right? They modern women and family members, not all family members, they don't come around until till you're a finished product. And when that's what kind of happened to me. So basically, here's the downside. When a woman says, "Oh well, come back to me when you've come back to me when you got it all together." When a man is told that, and when that man gets his S-T together, or he set out to accomplished that what he set out to do. Now he's making more money. He's financially well off. He's in a different income bracket and all of that. He's going to have animosity and distrust. And that and the downside to that is that it's going to make that accomplished man more turned off, because if nobody was there when you was going through the struggle, and now you are accomplished, you accomplished the mission that you set out to do, then there's no need to pursue that woman that claimed that calls herself wanting you to see her when you accomplish, because she didn't do any of the hard work you did, and you did it by yourself. So what good is she going to do except be a pump and dump in the bedroom?
She didn't help meet your needs. She didn't help you move anything forward. So there's no need to even get involved with her.
And exactly. So a lot of men become resentful. They become resentful because it's like, well, wait, hold on. I did all the hard work. I put in the time to be better, do better. Now I'm in a higher financial bracket. I've put myself in a position where I'm my own man. Now all of a sudden, now women want to be bothered with me. That's even more of a turnoff, because if a woman can't be with you during the struggle, then she shouldn't be with you, period. And then another thing too, I hate to say this for you good girls, but a lot of you decent women, y'all pay for the mistakes that these modern women do. For instance, I'm not in the business of saving. So I don't save women. If I have to help you with something and it's a burden, I'm letting you go. I am going to leave you because you have shown that you're more of a liability than you are of an asset. And so I'm not in the business. So if I have to have my shit together, the woman that's in my life, she has to have her shit together. And if she don't, she will not be with me. And so that's the price of that, right? So nobody wanted to be bothered with Chris when he was in the struggle. Now Chris has got it together. He's built and started his own digital media broadcast station, and he's cold chilling out in the Arizona desert. Oh yeah, I think I want to hook up with Mr. Chris now. No, no, that doesn't work like that. You 500 pounds, 5 kids later, you still staying with your mom and your dad, and you call yourself having all these standards to be with a high value man. Kick rocks, Wonder Woman. Kick rocks. And I have the power to do that, because if you wasn't there for the struggle, I don't need you now. What can you do for me besides a one night stand pump and dump? And even those lose its luster after a while. It's just like, I don't even want to do that with you. Just go away.
Because if you can't respect me, then I don't want anything to do with you. Plain and simple.
Right. And and that's that's where we are. We have to. Do I sound mean and vicious? Yeah, because I am not a man to be crossed, and I am to be taken seriously when it comes to Black empowerment. Yes, I am to be taken very, very seriously when it comes to Black empowerment. Yeah, you and I can joke and have fun and stuff like that. I don't take myself too seriously when it comes to that. It's not all, but when it comes to certain subject matter, yes, I'm 10 toes down. I'm 10 toes deep. And once again, I'm a father. I'm a former Marine. I put my life on the line because I wanted a better life for myself. Think about that. Joining the military was like the last. That was the very last of the last things that I'd wanted to do. And so I thought of myself that much that I'm even willing to put my life on the line so that I can have a better life for myself.
Yeah.
So that should speak volumes when it comes to a Ricky Smiley, when it comes to a Steve Harvey, when it comes to a Michael Eric Dumbass, when it comes to D.L. Hughley, Angela Rye, Roland Martin, Joy Reid, because you know what they all got in common? None of them ever served in the United States Marine Corps. None of them ever served in the military. You don't know the reality of your situation until you join the United States military. Whatever you think is going to happen, it's probably not going to end that way. When you see all those military commercials talking about Army, be all you can be, and you'll get to travel and see the world. Yeah, you're going to travel and see the world, all right, on the government's terms, not on yours. Yeah, you're going to see the world, all right. You're going to get 48-hour shore leave. That's it. You go to the shores of Turkey and Egypt, and well, maybe not Egypt, but like Greece and that part of the world, like around the Mediterranean stuff. And guess what? You're gonna hop your ass right back on that boat. So that is your touring the world. Okay. And when they say that you belong to them, when you are in the military, you are their property. Period. You are their property. And wrap your head around this, folks. You've got a woman pretending to be a Black woman that is a hair strand away from becoming president of the United States. She's indecisive. She says a whole bunch of word salad. She says a whole bunch of nothing burgers. And then to distract she makes this cackling, annoying laugh. Ha 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 ha. And this is a person that you're going to have to report to if you join the United States military. Your life is in her hands. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that?
I don't think people have thought that far.
Exactly. So when I speak on my platform, I'm speaking from the biggest picture possible. Because when I was in the military, George H.W. Bush was the president. Now, at least he acted like a president. Now, I didn't vote for him, but he acted like a president. This chick, she doesn't even act herself. And you got all these soup and nut maggots rolling in the rest of them talking about you need to vote for Kamala. You can't make this stuff up. Before we get out of here, I sent you 2 more videos. Can you squeeze them in? Because one of them is Brittany Renner. And yeah, here's the thing about Brittany Renner. Here's the thing about Brittany Renner and Candace Owens. So what does them two okay, hold on. Before you play it, I just want to say this.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead and tell you.
Okay. Wait a minute. Before you play him, I just want to say this. What does Brittany Renner and Candace Owens got in common? They're both grifting religion. So they both one tried to grift to be a sex grifter. The other one tries to be a white supremacist grifter, and they both lost. So now they're grifting in religion. Imagine these 2 harlots one trying to be a Muslim and one's trying to be a Roman Catholic. What does that say about the moral fabric of this country? And the modern women like them that are so pathetic that they're willing to grift even religion just to keep themselves relevant. We are living in some sick times. Okay, now I'm ready.
Allahu Akbar. I've gone through a lot of changes internally, and as a result, my outer world has completely crumbled. I'm sorry. I don't know. Whoa! Wow. Leaving me incredibly uncertain in just about every area in my life. I have no idea where I'm going to live or how I'm going to provide for my son. But Allah has moved mountains for me, and I trust that this will be no different. I feel like Alice when she ate the cookie and her feet went through the windows and she's crammed in the house like that. I've outgrown where I am. The facade is fading, alhamdulillah. And I'm at a place where I don't want anything that doesn't have my name on it. Take it away. It serves no purpose here. And I don't want a penny more than I'm meant to have, because I can do a lot with a little. The facade is fading. And when the facade fades and all the BS is cleared out, it makes room for what has always been for you.
Shut the fuck up. Yes, ma'am. Because I'm a real fucking bitch. You hear what I'm saying? And I care. And I'm a hopeful romantic. But I can't control. At the end of the day, I try to force something that wasn't mine. That wasn't my person. And that's okay. He's sitting over there motherfucking.
Well, that right there is your classic female chameleon in action. When the gimmick doesn't get her money with the group that she was originally with, she winds up changing colors to be a part of another group. Only, unfortunately, when it comes to Muslim men, they don't play that game with women like Brittany Renner, and that's why she's finding herself jammed up at this point.
But aren't you angry that she's willing to do that to a religion? Like,
well, she's going to find out that the Muslims do not play that game. Thing is that you can play that game trying to get over there and play with them, but they do not roll like that. They basically are going to hard check her, and she's going to be in for a rude awakening. I mean, I can't be angry because this is just classic female nature here. Whenever a hypergamous woman sees that she's out of access to resources, what she does is want the monkey branch. And what she's done is monkey branch and then fall completely out of the tree, because the men of Islam do not play the games that these men these Western men do. The Western men are naturalized simps, so they're used to women disrespecting them, like Brittany Renner did on that show. But when it comes to the men in the Muslim community, they do not play those games.
But yet, she has no morals or ethics. It's all about her. She's willing to humiliate herself. Like, these modern women don't understand. A lot of these modern women have children. Their children are going to see this. And what type of message does that send on how their mother acts? Like,
they don't care. All they're thinking about is getting that money, and they're like overgrown children. It's like I talk about in my book, why 70% of Black women are single. These women are just like overgrown children, and there's no dealing with them. There's no reasoning with them, and the whole thing is they're enabled by the government and these simps. So they will continue on with their behavior until they eventually deal with consequences. And Brittany Renner is about to deal with consequences because, again, the Muslim community does not play the same game that these hood dudes and these pookies do. And these Western men do. They are a whole different group of men, and she's in for a rude awakening when she gets over there.
But why would you grit like Candace Owens did it too? Now all of a sudden she's a Roman Catholic. Like, why would you? I'm not a religious person, but I don't play with religion. Like that, why would you play with somebody's belief?
Well, they do that
because you think you're going to get paid. Like, there's something demonically ultra fucked with you.
Well, all they think about is getting money. That's all these modern women think about is getting money because they worship white supremacy. They worship mammon, and there's no reasoning with them. There's no reasoning with them at all. So when it comes to those women, there's no only way to do is let them hit the consequences and hit the wall. So I'm gonna play this last video because I'm about to end the show about.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No. Say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit Black people. No.
Now, with that being said, who else has she told no to? Has she told no to Ukrainians? Has she told no to Palestinians or Israelis? Has she told no to Native Americans? Has she told no to anyone else? She hasn't said no to illegals. She said don't come over, but they're here in droves. So once again, we should accept no and vote for her, even though there are no policies for Black folk. And don't give me this like my friend does and say, well, she's got to say that because if she doesn't, white people aren't going to vote for her. And how is that my problem? Either you have the strength and the will and convictions to stand on what you do, or you ain't to vote for. How's that?
Speaking truth to power, being absolutely unapologetic. The Chris and Company Radio Show, broadcasting live on www.niceradionetwork.com.
All right.
Yeah, that's you know, and that's where we're at right now. We're in a media war. We're in a media war for the straight black man. The straight black man is the enemy of the people almost. We are. And if you don't think that Kamala is also a modern woman, okay, yeah, she's no different. She's part of the problem. She's no different. She is the modern woman that me and Sean are talking about tonight. No. November 5th can't get here fast enough, but you heard it from me first. Kamala's not winning. She's not winning at all. And when the Van Joneses, Jonathan Capehart, Miles Eric Budenwald, when these guys find out that Kamala is losing, they're coming to blame us. They're going to come and blame faces on this. And then some of the modern women, like Angela Rye with lettuce tomato on the side, her, Joy Reid, they're also going to come out and blame us. Tiffany Cross, that goofy broad that she made that comment talking about men get in line, black men get in line. No, you're the problem. You get in line, Tiffany. All right. Angela Rye. Well, Angela Rye is going to get in line whether she like it or not. But we need to take back black manhood by force. And we have to use it by being the bigger influence on the black media, in the black media diaspora. So, Sean, thank you, man. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. But before I go, I'm asking everybody to pick up the books of the SJS Direct 2024 catalog on Amazon. All three of those books, ISIS, Dark Incubus, John Haynes Illuminati, and Esteem Horror in the Hamptons, are available right now, along with my men's issues books, which will help you become a man who's more focused on building, and it will help me continue to build the SJS Direct imprint that I've been working on for the last 15 years. And if you want to help me stay on the air, you can do like many viewers did and drop a super chat or drop a cash up where I get 100% of the money by clicking the links in the description box. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank you all for coming out to tonight's stream, and I hope you'll be here for next week's stream. Everybody have a good evening, and everybody have a good night.